Welcome to Roofing Road Trips with Heidi. Explore the roofing industry through the eyes of a long-term professional within the trade. Listen for insights, interviews, and exciting news in the roofing industry today. Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Ellsworth here at rooferscoffeeshop.com, and I'm back again for a roofing road trip. And I'm road tripping over to ARMA to chat with Reed Hitchcock and Lynn Picone about their Excellence in Asphalt Roofing Awards. So, hello, Reed. Hi, Lynn. How are you guys doing?
Great. Thanks, Megan. How are you?
Excellent. Appreciate the chance to talk with you.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, let's dive right in and have Lynn. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Ladies first, how's chivalrous? Thanks. I'm Lynn Picone. I've been with GAF for over 31 years and have had several positions in technical services, marketing, and sales. My current role is in national accounts, where I work with some of our large national contractors. And I've been participating with ARMA for, I think, about 19 years, right, Reed?
Something like that.
Wow, that's awesome. 19 years, almost 2 decades. You're almost there.
Almost.
Reed, welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Megan. Reed Hitchcock. I'm the Executive Vice President for ARMA, the Asphalt Roofing Manufacturers Association. My journey in roofing started when I was 17 years old. And my father paid me and a friend of mine to install a laminated shingle roof on our house. And we did a truly mediocre job. We got mad at each other halfway through the job, and so our lines didn't. We started at opposite ends of the roof, and our lines didn't connect. Fast forward a few years, I worked with a company that one of our businesses was selling U.S. technology building materials in Turkey, and roofing shingles were one of the products we sold. And then a handful of years later, I got myself into the trade association business, and I've actually been with ARMA for 20 years this year, and it's been a wild ride. I've been in this role since 2007. So
amazing. Wow, 2007. That's great. So for all the listeners out there that don't know what ARMA is, what is ARMA, and what are your roles within the organization?
So I'll overview. ARMA is the trade association representing the manufacturers and raw material suppliers for the asphalt roofing manufacturing industry. So we represent both asphalt shingles as well as low slope asphaltic materials, built up roofing and modified bitumen systems. And my role is running the trade association. Lynn, what's your role?
I'm just one of the volunteer manufacturer membranes. ARMA is a volunteer organization for manufacturers, and I currently sit as chair for the Communications, Marketing, and Education Committee and task force chair for the Technical Review Committee. The communications team's mission is to promote the benefits of asphaltic roofing. We have a really diverse audience of industry professionals and property owners, and we just want to make sure everyone knows how wonderful asphaltic roofing is.
And I'd like to point out that Lynn was just recognized in our board of directors meeting for her service and dedication to the industry. Lynn's been chair of our communications, marketing, and education committee more than once, and she's a great contributor to the organization as a volunteer.
Oh, congratulations, Lynn. Wow.
Thank you.
What kind words. That's so amazing. And yeah, congrats on the recognition. That's always so nice to hear those kind of things from your peers and people that you work with every day.
It is indeed.
So, what are the Excellence in Asphalt Roofing Awards?
I'll take that, I guess.
Perfect.
I saw by Reed's face, right? So it's a program we came up with late in 2010 and began awarding in 2011. It really just recognizes the benefits of asphaltic installations for both flat or low slope applications and steep slope or shingle applications. We really want to extol the benefits of durability, affordability, reliability, versatility, and it really provides an outlet for contractors to share the great work that they do and for that work to be recognized and celebrated within the industry. It also
Yeah.
serves to educate and inform property owners, right? We want commercial owners to recognize all the benefits and value of asphaltic roofing, and we want homeowners to see the same thing.
But it was originally intended to draw attention not only to the industry, but to really exemplary installations, both on the steep slope and low slope side. Asphalt gets sort of a bad rap sometimes. It's sort of it's the stalwart of the industry. It's the go-to and has been for a long time. People don't necessarily see the industry as innovative or creative, what have you. And we really wanted to highlight using these tried and true materials, but in really challenging jobs or in really beautiful jobs, and highlighting again the durability and just the quality of the system as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes people can take roofing for granted, right? And
Yes.
so beautiful when you see a really gorgeous job. This gives us an opportunity to show that.
For sure.
I love that. That's so well said. It can be so creative. I think, the trades in general are, kind of slumped together and looked over as, hands-on work, you're getting dirty, not really creative or thought-provoking. But I think I totally agree with you guys. I think it can be very creative. The craftsmanship is amazing. So I love that you guys are all about celebrating that. I think that's so special. So congrats on making this amazing award. And going off of that, what are some, creative, beautiful past projects that have been sent in that stuck out to you?
I think one of the ones that sticks out in my mind was a job. It was a church job that had very, very tight access. And Lynn, I don't know if you'll remember this one. It was a few years ago. And so, I mean, like a lot of churches had steep roofs and lots of interesting peaks and valleys and details to it. But just getting the material to the job was a humongous challenge. And I was so thrilled that our judges latched onto that and really recognized that it wasn't just about the material or even the beauty of the building. It was about the challenge of getting the material there, getting it onto the roof and installing it in addition to those other factors. That's one that sticks out in my mind. Lynn?
Oh, I have so many memorable jobs, aside from the really breathtaking homes in stunning locales. And I'll be honest, they're my personal lottery dream home fantasies when I see some of these incredible homes. But for me, it's of course, I can't help but be a little prejudiced. The GAF contractors' jobs that are closest to my heart. And I think the first one I think about goes way back to the very beginning in 2011. It was a modified roof in a building in Dallas called the Mosaic Building. And I love it because it stands out in that Dallas skyline. It's unique because it has this checkerboard pattern, which is complicated enough. But then they also have this logo, the Mosaic logo on there. And I drove by it just a little while ago. And this was awarded in 2011. And it still looks great. I was in a cab actually with someone else who serves at ARMA. And I said, I just got this smile on my face. And she looked at me, she says, "What's that for?" I said, "That's an ARMA Excellence Award winner." True. And to God, it truly said that, right? Because you take pride in something that endures and you see it look the same. So I just had that great feeling wash over.
There was also, in 2018, there was the Museum of the American Revolution. That was a really neat project. And it's funny that, the majority of the submissions we get are steep slope. And it's funny that we're talking more about commercial. Well, I guess that church actually was a shingle job, that first one that I referenced. But this Museum of the American Revolution was a combination of multiple systems. There's green roof involved with it, and there was, this advanced storm management system. They had heat recovery and air cycling systems all in it. And so it was a really complex job. I think it was a Suprema job. And it was really a fantastic job. But like Lynn's, an Ocean Bluff and what have you. And one of the challenges we put in front of our judges is don't just get, sort of, you know, mesmerized by a gorgeous
Right.
house. We've got to go deeper than the pretty picture.
But those jobs
Mhm.
have challenges too, because those
Absolutely.
coastal jobs are exposed to winds and salt, and
Yep.
and sometimes, like Reed said, getting material there. But while you're on 2018, another job, it wasn't ours; it was a certainty job from 2018. It was called the Cincinnati Music Hall, I think. Stunning, stunning. Not just by sheer volume. It was a shingle job, and it had two different color shingles. And again, you look at the complexity and the challenge and those craftsman skills that are needed to weave into these turrets and high pitches. I mean, I've been on a lot of high roofs in my life, but some of these roofs, like the one last year, the KJ and GAF job, that job, yeah, it was a church in Connecticut. The steeples were unbelievable. And you think about the courage that these contractors
Yeah.
take to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to go up there and do this, and the complexity of loading it. How do you do all this? It's truly remarkable. It really is.
It is. It's also remarkable that, I mean, I'm sure you all have received hundreds of applications and submittals to this award, and you're just naming them off. Oh, this one was really cool. This one was great. It's again, it goes back to the craftsmanship and the creativity that goes along with this work that makes it stand out to you. And I to go back to the first GAF roof you mentioned, Lynn, that is so cool that you saw it in person and it looks exactly the same. And so
And
that's
the durability
cool.
of asphalt roofing too.
Yes, exactly.
And the efficacy of our contest. So only
Yes.
choose pure winners. Megan, one of the other things I would point out, in addition to some of the jobs, is we've had a number of companies that have put in multiple submissions. When I say companies, I'm talking about contractors, and
Mhm.
at least two I can think of that have won more than once. Wedge Roofing out in California and Roofing
Oh,
Solutions down in the Gulf Coast are both
advance. They're nuts.
multi-time winners, and
Wow.
that speaks to people once they sort of get a taste for it. I mean, the prizes are nice; they're not huge, but
Mhm.
we promote them throughout the year. We recognize them at the IRE. I'm skipping ahead, I know, but it really is. There's more to the package, and the contractors, once they have a taste of that, they're like, all right, we're submitting next year. We're submitting next year, and again, some have won more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's things like that that push and push creativity and innovation. So it's things like this award that really help the industry grow at the end of the day.
Sure.
So who are the judges that are judging these submittals and reviewing the applications?
Um, we've we tend to rotate the judges. It's not the same people every year,
Nice.
and we like to get sort of a cross section of representation from the industry. Aaron Phillips, who's ARMA's Vice President of Technical Services, he is a multiple time judge. Aaron understands well better than I do the technical complexity as a job because of his long background in the roofing industry. This year, we also have Mark Graham from NRCA as one of our judges, and again, another person that's been in the industry for a long time and understands technical challenges. And then we like to have folks from various trade media participate. This year, Heidi Ellsworth from Roofers Coffee Shop is one of our
The
judges,
one and only.
as well as Art Eisner and Brian Terry, who from other publications in the industry. And it's a nice cross section. And again, we rotate it year to year, just to keep it a little fresh. I mean, it is a lot of work for these folks.
Hmm.
They get all the submissions and a matrix to work through, and judging criteria to base it on, and it's complex. And I'll get
Hmm.
calls once in a while. I think it was last year. Former NRCA president Reed Ribble was a judge, and he called
Oh,
me up late one night and asked me if he should be considering a certain aspect of one of the submissions. They really get into it. It's exciting. It's fun. It's fun to sort of observe the process.
Yeah, and I bet it's an honor to get asked as well. Like that's kind of you get to see all these different projects. You kind of get on the inside scoop of what's going on, and get to interact with all the cool contractors too. So it's
I like
definitely
to
an
think it's
honor.
an honor.
Yeah. So you mentioned the reward for the winners of the award. What are some of the benefits to receiving this award?
Well, I mean, contractors get a $2,000 cash award for gold, $1,000 for silver, $500 for bronze, right? It's not a tremendous amount of money, but it certainly is enough to buy the crews lunch and celebrate their staffs and their companies, right? As Reed said, these folks are recognized and celebrated at IRE. We put trade press announcements out. They're on the ARMA website for a long time. If you go out onto asphaltroofing.org, you can see the winners gallery, and those jobs that we talked about from 2011 are still there. So you get this long exposure, right? Not to mention social media outlets,
Well,
and
we do job profiles
job profiles in the media.
in the media,
Yeah.
and those carry on for about 18 months after a win. Sometimes, just in terms of placing and editorial calendars, what have you. And it gives them, as the contractors, internet resources to share with potential customers down the road. We like to think it adds to their ability not only to promote their business, but the credibility of their business, recognized by the industry, and again, as a swath of the industry, not just some guy at ARMA that says that's a pretty roof.
Yeah.
Really, broader. So yeah, no, it's a neat opportunity for them, and like I said, gives them exposure for a good long while.
And
Yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
and to that, I think it affords contractors a real opportunity to differentiate and be recognized in their communities. And it gives them bragging rights, right? So they get to stand up and be noticed.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, a cash prize, who's going to say no to that? But definitely bragging rights is that and you get it brings the whole team together, the people that were actually installing the roof, the people in the office. It's just such a camaraderie element. And absolutely bragging rights are always the best. I am a competitive person myself, and so I would want to win for sure. So in your opinions, what characterizes an excellence award recipient?
I'll start. I mean, to me personally, roofing is hard work. And when it's done well, as many of these jobs demonstrate, it's an art, as we talked about, that craftsmanship. So to me, these winners are business owners who take pride in their companies, in their employees, in their reputations, in the communities where they live and work. And they really deserve the acknowledgement of a job well done.
Yeah, I think certainly we're judging based on a submission that goes through a process. Starting for us, well, it obviously starts with the job, right, and all the aspects of the job, and our we actually changed the criteria for this year. So there's 4 criteria: why asphalt, project challenges, distinction, and beauty. But the first exposure we have to the job is the submission, and care in that submission does make a difference. That question that I mentioned that came from one of the judges last year really came down to somebody that hadn't thought through their submission. That job didn't end up winning. It was an interesting job, but they didn't sort of fill in all the blanks that we need to make an educated decision about it. I think on all of them, looking at not only just a beautiful execution, a creative solution to a challenge. I mean, if you've got a roof with a whole bunch of penetrations on it for some reason, how are you dealing with that? You've got weird parapets to to cope with? How are you dealing with that? I remember one of the jobs that sticks out in my mind had a whole bunch of and I'm going to get the terminology wrong here, but had a whole bunch of those eyebrow windows.
Eyebrow dormers.
Okay, eyebrow dormers. I was close. It had like dozens of them on a steep slope roof.
Oh, whoa.
And they were, I mean, just on top of dealing with everything else, a very large house. But okay, we got to figure out how to work with those and integrate them so they don't look tacked onto the building. Incorporating with other materials. One of the church jobs that I can think of from several years ago was a shingle job, a lot of steep slope, but they also had a turret that had a copper roof on it. And so blending those both from a color standpoint and an installation standpoint, because they did intersect at one point, making that all come together, seamlessly, and leaving the building owner or the homeowner with something that they're proud of. And that is going to last them for a good long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited to see the submissions for this year. I'm so excited.
One other thing, and you'll get a special probably preview because of your connection, right? So one of the other changes we made with the contest this year is we talked over and over again about these phenomenally breathtaking jobs. And we wanted to give an opportunity to some other criteria as well. We've got our medal winners, but we've also got what we call we used to call them honorable mention, but now we're calling them best in class, because there are a whole series of other things that they may not be these gorgeous, breathtaking supermodels, right? But they're beautiful work in their own right. So, we've got an in the neighborhood category. We've got a commercial or mixed use, because as Reed said, we don't get as many commercial submissions as we really would love to see. And then craftsmanship. We've seen some jobs over the years. They're like they're geodesic domes, right? They're super technical to be able to work with. So we've got a technical difficulty, and then we have a craftsmanship for some of this really more artistic, these steeples, these turrets, these things that we've talked about that are really works of art. So lots of fun coming up in this year's contest.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Everyone should get really excited. Not only can you win, for second, third, but you can be best in class for, all those different topics. That's really exciting. And it is nice to get a participation award. It is nice to get that acknowledgement for work well done, beautiful work, even if you're not winning the top prize.
And they still get all that same exposure.
Yes.
While they don't get the cash, they get the promotion throughout the year, because that's great. We're in the business of promoting asphalt roofing. So the more I've got to promote, the more I can promote, and the more I can get the word out. And so that's a win-win in my book. And it doesn't cost them anything to enter other than a little bit of time to put together at least one thoughtful entry. And there's no limit to how many times a roofing contractor can apply.
And it's real opportunity to differentiate your company as a roofing contractor, right? Everybody faces competition all the time. And if you can be recognized by the industry as having, a phenomenal job, whether it's best in class or a medal winner, it's an opportunity to promote your business.
Absolutely. And that's always a great opportunity to take by the reins, put it up on your website, show your customers that you're working with, clients that you're working with, hey, we do great work here. We've won this many awards, blah, blah, blah. That is so great for their marketing and your marketing. It's fabulous. So, go ahead, Reed.
I was just going to say, and for those companies that are present at the IRE, one of the things we started in the beginning, because I always wanted to do this, was we hand out the giant checks, usually in the manufacturer's booth. And so we'll have the contractor and representatives from the contractor, representatives from the manufacturer whose products they used, and representatives from ARMA, and I hand them literally, that thing's like 4 or 5 feet wide, the giant check, and they get to take it home with them, or they can throw it in the dumpster.
Wow.
And then during COVID, we did several of those virtually, and we'll still do them virtually with companies that don't come to the IRE. So we'll send the check to them, and then do a Zoom and capture video of them with the check, and we talk to them about it. So it's a multimedia experience. But I mean, how can you beat a giant check?
I don't know. I don't think you can beat a giant check. I mean, come on, people. Let's get the submissions rolling. I want to see this giant check.
Presented by Reed Hitchcock. It's
Presented
so
by me. Yeah.
It's exciting.
The one and only.
A lot of fun is what it is.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun. So, for all of our listeners out there that are getting excited, they want a giant check, they want the recognition, who's eligible to apply, and when is the deadline?
I mean, this is to celebrate roofing companies, so any contractor who installs asphalt roofing is welcome to apply. And the
Awesome.
deadline is December 1st, midnight. It's looming right around the corner.
It is looming.
It is.
It is looming. So everyone out there listening, gather your submission, get it in. We're going to get this podcast up ASAP so people know about it and they can apply. This is so exciting. Thank you so much. Do you guys have anything else to add about the awards?
I would add, again, I just reiterate, multiple submissions. We encourage them. We want to see all kinds of work that contractors have done. There is a submission tip sheet, which is a checklist to give additional guidance on project entries. And that's available on the ARMA website at asphaltroofing.org. And Lynn, what am I forgetting?
It's really just, again, a wonderful opportunity to promote your business. There's no charge to apply. Come one, come all, with as many jobs as you can think about. And time is running out, so apply today. We make it really easy on asphaltroofing.org.
For sure.
Yes. The website to apply will be in the show notes below this podcast, as well as on rooferscoffeeshop.com. So you can go and apply, get it in. And if they didn't get their submissions in, they can commiserate and prepare for next year's submission. So thank you both so much. This has been so much fun. I am so excited for the giant checks. Make sure I'm there when you hand them out.
We always invite the media to come and observe and participate in the celebration.
Okay, good. We'll be there.
All right.
Great. Thank you so much, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a review. Thanks for listening. This has been Roofing Road Trips with Heidi from therooferscoffeeshop.com.